Have you ever touched an ice cube? How you feel? Yes, it is cool. You know why? The heat energy is being transferred from your finger to an ice cube. When you touch a bowl which is on the stove, how you feel? Yes, it is hot. Because the heat energy is being transferred from the bowl to your finger. Does the transfer of heat energy takes place continuously? No, the transfer of heat energy continues till both bodies attain the same degree of hotness or coldness. This state of bodies is called thermal equilibrium. Let the bodies A, B and C are in thermal equilibrium. If the temperature of A is 60 degrees centigrade, then the temperature of C is also 60 degrees. Heat is a form of energy that flows from a body at higher temperature to a body at lower temperature. Temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness. Let us know the units of heat. In CGS system, calories; in SI system, joules. 1 calorie is equals to 4.186 joules. Temperature is measured in degrees centigrade in CGS system, in kelvins in SI system. 0 degrees centigrade is equals to 273 kelvins. Temperature measured on Kelvin scale is called absolute temperature. How would you convert degree centigrade to kelvins? Temperature in Kelvin is equals to 273 plus temperature in degrees Celsius. Observe these two examples. Observe this jar. So this jar contains water. Here we are increasing the temperature of this water. See how fastly the molecules are moving. That means the kinetic energy of the water molecules has been increasing as the temperature increased. By this we can conclude that the average kinetic energy of the molecules is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. Now try to answer these questions. Method of mixtures. When the masses and temperatures of two bodies are same, then the temperature of the mixture also same. Let us understand this with an example. Let us take water in two glasses having same mass and same temperature. When we mix these two, the mass has become 200 grams, but the temperature remains same, that is 40 degrees centigrade. When masses are different and temperatures are same, in this case also the temperature of the mixture remains same. Let us take another example to understand this. Here we have the water with two different masses, that is 200 grams and 100 grams. But the temperatures are same, that is 40 degrees centigrade. When we mix these two, the mass becomes 300 grams and the temperature, there is no change, it remains the same. When masses and temperatures both are different, we can't say the temperature of the mixture directly. Here we need to use the principle of method of mixtures. Let masses of two bodies are M1 and M2, temperatures are T1 and T2. Now the temperature of the mixture T is equals to M1 T1 plus M2 T2 by M1 plus M2. In this case, we need to use this formula. Specific heat. Let us take 1 kg of water and 1 kg of oil. Measure their temperatures. Let us suppose the temperatures of both are same, that is 20 degrees centigrade. Now heat both of them for 1 minute. Now let us observe how much temperature has raised in both. See, the water has increased from 20 degrees to 50 degrees. That is, there is a rise of 30 degrees centigrade. And the oil has increased from 20 degrees centigrade to 80 degrees centigrade. 60 degrees raised. So, the rise in temperature depends on nature of the material. Let us take water in two different bowls. The first bowl contains 250 grams of water and the second one contains 1 kg of water. Let the initial temperatures of both bowls are same. Now heat both the bowls till they reach 60 degrees centigrade. Which bowl takes less time? Obviously, the bowl having less mass. The bowl having more mass takes more time to reach the same temperature. So, the amount of heat energy is directly proportional to the mass. We can write this statement as Q is proportional to M. The difference in temperature is also proportional to Q, that is, Q is proportional to delta T. By joining these two equations, we can write Q is proportional to M multiplied by delta T. We can write this as Q is equals to Ms delta T. By this equation, we can also write S is equals to Q by M delta T. Here S is specific heat. The specific heat of a substance is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of the substance by 1 degree centigrade. Now let us know the units of specific heat. In CGS system, the units are calories per gram degree centigrade. In SI system, the units are joules per kg Kelvin. We know that 1 calorie is equals to 4.186 joules. By this, we can write 1 calorie per gram degree centigrade is equals to 4.186 into 10 to the power of 3 joules per kg Kelvin. Here is the table showing different specific heats of materials. That means aluminum has 0.22, copper has 0.093. See the water, it has highest specific heat value 1. The substance having low specific heat value absorbs heat very fastly, and the substance having high specific heat value absorbs heat slowly. Now let us know the applications of specific heat in our daily life. Have you ever been to beaches? The climate there is moderate, pleasant. It is neither too hot or not too cold. Not only beaches, the cities that are in the coastal region, they are also moderate climate. You know why? Because the water body present there, This water absorbs large amounts of heat due to high specific heat. Do you like samosa? Of course, everyone. A samosa appears to be cool outside, but it is hot when we eat it because the curry inside the samosa contains ingredients with higher specific heat. Watermelon brought out from refrigerator retains its coolness for a longer time because it contains large amount of water. Did you observe the cookware in our kitchens? They have coated with copper and aluminium as bottom. You know why? As copper and aluminium have very low specific heat, it absorbs the heat energy very fastly. So, the food will be cooked in less time. Now, try to answer the following questions. Finding specific heat of a solid. Let us first learn the principle of calorimetry. The net heat lost is equals to the net heat gain. Let us understand this with an example. Let's take one object with high temperature, that is 40 degrees centigrade, another object with low temperature, that is 20 degrees centigrade. When these two objects are in contact, the object having high temperature loses its heat energy, or it transfers heat energy to the object having low temperature. Then the object having low temperature gains heat energy. Now both bodies attain same temperature. Here we have a calorimeter, and this part is a stirrer. This one is the cap which we use to place thermometers. This small cap we use to close the top of the calorimeter to avoid loss of heat energy. This is the aluminum container. The inner part of the calorimeter contains heat insulating materials, basically wool. Now let us learn how to find the specific heat of a given solid. Materials required: calorimeter, thermometer, stirrer, water, steam heater, wooden box, and lead shots. Now let us go to the procedure of this experiment. Let us come to the procedure of the experiment. First of all, we have to take a calorimeter and measure its mass along with its stirrer. Let us suppose this mass is m1. Now fill this calorimeter with 1/3 of the water. Now measure its mass and temperature. Let the mass of calorimeter along with water is m2. Now the mass of the water. To find this, we need to subtract m1 from m2, that is m2 minus m1. By doing this, we can get the mass of water. let the temperature of the water in calorimeter is T1. Now, let us take few lead shots and place them in hot water and heat them up to a temperature of 100 degrees centigrade. Let this 100 degrees centigrade temperature be T2. So, T2 is 100 degrees centigrade here. Now, transfer the hot lead shots which are at 100 degrees centigrade quickly into the calorimeter. Now, the temperature of the mixture settles after some time. That means the lead shots will lose the heat energy and the calorimeter and water will gain the heat energy. That means they absorb. Next, now the temperature may be changed. So let us measure this temperature T3 and mass of calorimeter plus water plus lead shots, that is M3. Now we need to find the mass of lead shots, that is M3 minus M2. We know that in calorimeter there will be no loss of heat energy into the surroundings. So we can assume that the heat lost by the lead shots is transferred to the calorimeter and water. Now let us suppose the specific heats of lead shots is SL and specific heat of calorimeter is SC and specific heat of water is SW. According to the method of mixtures, heat lost by lead is equals to heat gain by calorimeter plus heat gain by water. So by using this formula, we have to substitute, we have to apply here. Now first let us find out heat lost by lead shots. Here we have applied the formula Q is equals to ms delta T. That means M means mass of lead shots. Mass of lead shots just before we have find out, that is M3 minus M2. So here it is, mass of lead shots M3 minus M2 multiplied by the specific heat of lead shots, that is SL, and this is the temperature difference. At first the temperature of the lead shots is T2, that is 100 degrees centigrade. After some time it has been changed to T3. So T2 minus T3 is the difference in temperature. So this is the heat energy lost by the lead shots. This energy has been gained by calorimeter and water, and this is the energy gained by calorimeter and this is the energy gained by water. So here we have to find out the specific heat of lead shot, that is SL. So if we send these two to the right side, so the equation changes like this. In these two, T3 minus T1 is in common. That's why we have take it as common. So this is the formula to find the specific heat of the given solid. Evaporation. Do you know how the wet clothes become dry? Yes, because of evaporation. Let us learn about evaporation in this video. The process of escaping of molecules from the surface of a liquid at any temperature is called evaporation. That means evaporation can take place at any temperature. The molecules in a liquid continuously move with random speeds in various directions. As a result, these molecules will collide with other molecules. During the collision, they transfer energy to other molecules. When the molecules inside the liquid collide with molecules at the surface, the molecules at the surface acquire energy and may fly off from the surface. Let's learn some important points. In evaporation, phase changes from liquid to gas. The temperature of a system falls during evaporation. Evaporation is a cooling process and it is a surface phenomenon. Now let us learn the factors affecting evaporation. There are three factors: surface area, temperature, and humidity. As the surface area increases, the rate of evaporation also increases. The coffee in a cup is hotter than the coffee in a saucer because of its surface area. As the temperature increases, the rate of evaporation also increases. As the vapor already present in the surrounding air increases, the rate of evaporation decreases. That means if humidity increases, evaporation decreases. Let us take some examples to understand the problems in heat chapter. So here is the first one. Convert 32 degrees centigrade into Kelvin scale. So here is the conversion between centigrade scale and Kelvin scale. The formula that we need to apply here is the temperature in Kelvin scale is equals to the temperature in centigrade scale plus 273, because the Kelvin scale starts from 273 kelvins. Now substituting the value of degrees in centigrade in this formula, that means K is equals to, instead of centigrade temperature, we write 32 degrees centigrade. So by calculating we get 305 kelvins. The second one, convert 315 kelvins into centigrade scale. The same formula should be applied here. So here we need to apply the value in kelvins because we need to find out the value in centigrade scale. So 315 is substituted. So by simplifying we get 42 degrees centigrade. And next, now the conversion is between centigrade scale and Fahrenheit scale. So here the third problem, convert 104 degrees Fahrenheit into centigrade scale. The relation between centigrade scale and Fahrenheit scale is, here is the formula. C by 5 is equals to F minus 32 by 9. Instead of C, we have to substitute the value of the temperature in centigrade scale. Instead of F, we have to substitute the value of temperature in Fahrenheit scale. In our problem, the temperature is given in Fahrenheit scale. We need to convert this into centigrade scale. So instead of F, substitute the value of 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and here we substituted, and by simplifying this we get the value C by 5 is equals to 8. Then C is equals to 40 degrees centigrade. Next, move to the fourth problem. So here is the problem. 50 grams of water at 20 degrees centigrade is mixed up with 50 grams of water at T degrees centigrade. If the final temperature is 30 degrees centigrade, find T degrees centigrade. So here we need to apply the method of mixtures formula. So let us first try to write down what is given in the problem. So M1 is given as 50 degrees centigrade, 50 grams, and its temperature is 20 degrees centigrade. So M1 T1 value is given in the problem, and M2 is also given as 50 grams. T2 we need to find out. It is given as 3 degrees centigrade, but the final temperature is given as 30 degrees centigrade. Now, method of mixtures. By using method of mixtures, the formula is T final temperature T is equals to M1 T1 plus M2 T2 by M1 plus M2. Here we know the values of all values instead of T2. By substituting the values and simplifying, we get finally we get 20 plus T is equals to 60. Then T is equals to 40 degrees centigrade. Next problem. How much energy is absorbed when 10 grams of ice at 0 degrees centigrade becomes steam at 100 degrees centigrade? So before solving this problem, we need to write down the phase difference. That means the ice at 0 degrees has been changing to steam at 100 degrees centigrade. First, the ice at 0 degrees centigrade converts to water at 0 degrees centigrade, because at 0 degrees centigrade both the ice and water, both stages are available, both stages are present. Then the water at 0 degrees centigrade converts to water at 100 degrees centigrade. Then water at 100 degrees centigrade converts to steam at 100 degrees centigrade. So this is the phase change between ice at 0 degrees centigrade and steam at 100 degrees centigrade. Here the mass is given as 10 grams. First stage, that means Q1, the temperature, that means the heat energy required to convert ice at 0 degrees centigrade to water at 0 degrees centigrade. So here in these two stages there is no difference in the temperature. That means here is 0 degrees centigrade and here also 0 degrees centigrade. So when there is no difference in the temperature, we have to use the formula Q1. That means Q1 is equals to ml. What is L here? L is the latent heat of fusion, because ice has been converting into water. So the formula is Q1 is equals to ml. We know the mass m 10 grams, and latent heat of fusion is 80 calories per gram. So by substituting and simplifying, we get 800 calories. So this is the value of Q1. And again we have to find out the value of Q2. That means the phase difference between water at 0 degrees centigrade and water at 100 degrees centigrade. So how much heat energy required? Q2. That has to be calculated now. So here there is difference in temperature. That means the water has been changing from 0 degrees to 100 degrees. So there is difference in temperature. Now the formula that we has to apply here is Q2 is equals to ms delta T. By substituting the values, we know the mass 10 grams and a specific heat of water is 1 calorie per gram degree centigrade. So and the temperature difference, that is 100 minus 0, we get by simplifying 1000 calories. So Q2 has been calculated as 1000 calories. And then third one, Q3. Q3 is the phase difference between water at 100 degrees centigrade to steam at 100 degrees centigrade. That means there is no difference in temperature. This is a latent heat of vaporization. So now the formula that we have to apply here is Q3 is equals to ml. So we know the value of m as 10, and the L, what is L? L is the latent heat of vaporization, that is 540 calories per gram. By substituting and simplifying, we get 5400 calories. And now the total energy required we have to calculate. That means we have to sum up Q1, Q3, Q1, Q2 and Q3. We just before we calculated the values of Q1, Q2 and Q3. By adding all the values, we get 7200 calories. So this is the
heat energy required to convert to ice at 0 degrees centigrade to steam at 100 degrees centigrade. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys may have understood the problems.